Welcome to 519 Connect, where the Windsor Police Service connects with members of our community. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Welcome to 519 Connect. I'm one of your hosts, Constable Jamie Adjetey-Nelson, and today we have two guests. They're from Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and they're here to talk about a great program that's happening in the Windsor and Essex County, and just to give us an update and highlight on how you can get involved and the history behind this. So today I have Jeff Loewen and Brian Cyncora. Thank you guys for showing up.
Thanks for having us.
A pleasure.
Oh, always. So just a little background on both of you for our audience. Brian, he's a retired police officer from Winnipeg Police Service, 30 years, and he retired with the rank of inspector. He's a past president of the NFP Main Street Project, which is responsible to address issues of homelessness, addiction, and mental health. He also works alongside with his wife, Terry, who retired after 26 years with the Province of Manitoba Department of Corrections, and she was splitting her career as a corrections officer and a financial analyst. Together, they moved from Winnipeg, Manitoba, to Canada's most southern city, the best city, I say, Windsor, Ontario. And in their last years of retirement, it took a turnabout as they learned about the issue of child bedlessness. So 1,900 children in Windsor and Essex County are bedless. So they co-founded Sleep in Heavenly Peace, the Windsor, with the mission of ending child bedlessness. So that's I don't want to steal your thunder. I'm going to leave that to you. And then we have Jeff Loewen, who I know as a constable of Windsor Police Service for 26 years. I've been fortunate to work with him on the same platoon and actually driven in the car with you once or twice. But Jeff is in his 30th year. He's been in patrol services, target-based, drugs and guns, rope offender patrol enforcement. Actually, that's the first time I met you. He was in plain clothes, and I needed some assistance, and he was in plain clothes, and he showed up, and he's like, hey, you need some help there? And I looked over, and I was like, who's this guy? But I was like, thank you for your help. And that's the first time I met Jeff. So Jeff is currently the delivery and installation coordinator for Sleep in Heavenly Peace for Windsor and Essex County. And I think it's a great organization. When I met Brian for the first time at an event, he spoke about it, and he spoke about Jeff and the great work he was doing here and how they wanted that to grow. So welcome to 519 Connect.
Thanks for having us at 519 Connect. It's a pleasure for me to be here, and I'm sure for Jeff too. I'm speaking for you, Jeff.
Agreed.
Yeah, you know what, Jeff? This show's new, and it's about the community and how we can connect them with our I'm not going to say a large audience, but people who are there who can connect other people. And he said, I have this idea, and he spoke to Inspector Armstrong, and he loved it. I kind of knew what he wanted to talk about, but I said, go to Inspector Armstrong, and we're all about it. So we're pleased to have you here to talk about Sleep in Heavenly Peace. So Winnipeg to Windsor.
Yeah, like you said, we're in the southern part of Canada, which everyone in Windsor knows is the southern part of Canada. We've got extra months on the end of our summer now, where we had a summer that was lasting two and a half months. We go quite a bit now into the fall, the Winnipeg fall, and we are able to enjoy a lot more sun. So when we looked at where to relocate on our retirement, Windsor was our first choice. We came out here, bought a house, and Windsor's our home. And when we moved out here, and coming from a background where in policing you're giving back to the community when you're working and off the job, as you can see, that's from the past, working at the Main Street Project with the homelessness, the addicted people, and you try and give back by working and doing things for the community. In Windsor, when Terry and I moved out here, we learned of this issue, child bedlessness, and being our new home, we thought we could help our new community by bringing an end to child bedlessness and co-founding the Sleep in Heavenly Peace chapter in Windsor. Now, Sleep in Heavenly Peace was founded in the U.S. several years ago, like about 11 years ago, and there's 230 chapters in the U.S., and we're all attacking the common problem of child bedlessness. Our stats show that 2 to 3% of every community has children who are not sleeping in favorable conditions on the floor, without mattresses, just unfavorable conditions. And we know that sleep is and sleeping on a bed is important to a child's health and well-being. With food, shelter, and clothing being the three primary things in life that keep us going, a bed comes under the shelter component. So when a child has a good night's sleep, they're more rested and prepared to handle the challenges of the next day. And so when Terry and I looked at this, we said, well, we can do something here. We've got time. We're retired. We're able to help our new community. And in doing so, and I look on the Windsor Police, the historic events line, and, you look at your elements that you honor, your honor and service. And I'm reading right now: professionalism, respect, accountability, innovation, teamwork, and service. Service is what we're doing here. We're serving the community, and in serving the community, we're trying. We can't do it alone. So Terry and I, said, well, we can't do it alone, so we need a team. And the first guy that I connected with was off the job. We were on a vacation, and we just connected because we were just two guys from Windsor that seemed to be in the same place. And next thing you know, I said to Jeff, would you like to help us out with this? And he just jumped on board. And that, to me, is indicative of most police officers in any county or any community. They all want to protect and serve. And when you join the job, you say you want to protect and serve and help our community. And that's what I like about not even though we actually have a fair number of Windsor police members, active and retired, helping us. And it's not a police organization, but it gets back to protecting and serving. And most of us who joined the job, we all said we wanted to do just that, protect and serve. So here we are serving after we've even retired. But Jeff is doing both. He's serving the community right now, and when he's off duty, he's serving the community again.
Yeah, Jeff, Brian speaks well of you, and working with you, I do as well. You're serving during, on the job and off the job. What was it that you saw as an officer that you felt that this was something you wanted to be a part of? Because we're out there in the community, and was the connection that much deeper to something like this? Because, as officers, we're in people's homes.
Yeah. When Brian and I met, and like I said, it was a small world situation. We both lived in Windsor, and neither of us really knew of each other's existence until we met 3,000 miles away on a vacation.
Vacation? Vacation? Tell me about it. Why wasn't I invited?
Well, my wife probably would have had an issue with a third party.
I think it was your 50th birthday, or it was a 50th.
Yeah, she purchased the trip as a 30th anniversary gift.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, and Brian and I got to talking, and he brought up this whole thing with child bedlessness and him setting up this organization locally, and the history and the states of it, and having where it had started. And from everything I'd observed over the last well over 25 years in policing, it touched a chord with me.
Yeah.
So I'd always tried for a number of years to stay involved off duty, the standard stuff, youth coaching high school football. This presented a new challenge to me. And I thought a very worthy one. So that's kind of how the ball got rolling.
I think if I could interject also, as an officer, we go into homes. We see the situations, we see the circumstances, and many times we witness firsthand child bedlessness, and can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is an opportunity for us to do something about it. And I say us, even though I'm retired. I feel a kinship. It's a fraternity. It's an organization you never really leave.
True.
And you're showing it right now. You can't leave it, right?
You can't. You always want to give back. And it's corny, like I've said before. It's corny, but it's true. When you start serving the community, you start helping people. like I was saying earlier, everyone who joins the job, when they go through their interview, they all say the same or similar words. I want to help the community. And we do. Now, we don't often see the end result. Here, we're seeing the end result. We're actually providing beds to kids. And when you see, and you look at our website, you look at the videos, and you see what the responses from the children, it melts your heart because they had nothing, and now you're giving them something. And it's a place of safety, a place of security where within their home, they can go and they can lay on their bed, they can read their book, they can do their homework. They can sleep at night, and it's their place. And when they don't have that, they don't have that. When they have it, it's that security too. So we see it. We know it's real. We've been in enough homes to know that it exists in every community, and we're just here to help. And we're very thankful that the community in Windsor has responded to help us do this, because we can't do it alone. We're all volunteers. No one gets paid a dime or anything. It's no remuneration. But we get paid in the service that we do and seeing the results. And all the people in Windsor, Essex County, have been coming forward, helping us with funding, helping us with pillows, with blankets, because every child gets one of our handmade beds. Like we make the way this works is we create an event, and generally a group of people will come forward and work with our team. Our team mentors the community. We engage the community in an event. They come out and we help them build the beds. And at the end of an event, we can build 20, 30, maybe 40 beds in a 4-hour period. It's a bit of an undertaking, but they're all handmade beds. And then once the beds are built, they go into our storage locker. Then people go online, they apply for them. They apply for the beds, and that's where Jeff gets more involved, because Jeff's already building beds with us too. So then Jeff coordinates the deliveries. He determines whether there's a need or a want, and generally there always is a want, or excuse me, a need. It's not really a want thing. And he coordinates the deliveries, and several retired members of your team, the Windsor Police Service, come out and help deliver beds. And the good thing about that is when I have incredible confidence in who I send into the home. I know that they're vetted people that, I trust who's going in and into a child's home and building the bed for that child. So the child gets a new handmade bed, a mattress, sheets, pillow, comforter. We go in. I think, how long does it take you to build a bed?
A single. Once we finish unloading, it might take us 15 minutes total.
Yeah, these guys are good.
How long does it take to build one though? You're there from the process, day one. Yeah. What's that like?
On the build day, it depends how many volunteers come out for a build event. We've had Inspector Armstrong's youth group involved on a couple of builds. And if we've got the personnel, we can build 30 beds in like 3-4 hours. What's built on the event day is the main components. Okay. The headboard, footboards, the side rail assemblies, that kind of stuff. That's all built. On a delivery day, once I schedule a delivery and set it up, I go to the storage unit, usually with 1 or 2 helpers, and we bring the necessary headboard, footboards. If it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 bed delivery, we've done as high as 6 at once. Gather all the headboards and footboards, do any preparation we need to do, load everything up, bring it out there, unload at the home, and we complete the assembly of the bed in the room. So we now secure the side rails to the headboards and footboards. We put the support slats in, put in the install the mattress, make sure we literally make the bed, so we don't leave anything undone when we go. So we get if the parents are good with it and the child is good with it, we usually try and get a photo for our social media and web page, and it shows. You see the grins on the faces. A child that's had nothing and is just absolutely thrilled to have their sanctuary, because really that's what we all need, right? Especially kids need a sanctuary.
Yeah, to have your own, you take it from 1% to 100, and to be a part of that, I imagine, it makes you, want to talk about it, makes you want to spread the word, to get more people out there, to get that feeling, not necessarily for yourself, but that, like you said, that look on that child's face. That's that opportunity that creates when you get that sleep. We know about brain development, like you said, everything. It's a starting place, and even being able to come back to it and have that safe space. So.
Hi, my name is Ed Armstrong. I'm the Inspector of Professional Advancement with the Windsor Police Service. With this position, I oversee our training branch, community services, as well as recruitment. As you know, Windsor is one of the most diverse communities in Canada. With that being said, our goal is to ensure that our police service represents our community. If you know anyone from your community that believes in our core values and will be an asset to our organization and serve the community with honor and service, the Windsor Police Service is currently accepting applications for the position of cadet. We encourage you to have them apply. Although patrol and ensuring the safety of our community is our #1 priority, the Windsor Police Service offers different departments that may interest you. To name a few, our Major Crimes Branch, our Forensic Identification Unit, Emergency Services Unit, and our Marine Unit. Which one interests you? So you want to know how to become a cadet? Simply visit our website at windsorpolice.ca under the Career tab, or visit oacpcertificate.ca. I'm sitting at my desk waiting to see your application.
So, what are the stats like in Windsor? A lot of times when you get on the job, like when I remember was a first officer, you only know stuff on the outside. So what's it like in Windsor for child bedlessness?
Windsor, Essex has 95,000 children in it. According to StatsCan, 95,000 children. Our research shows that 2 to 3% of every community has of children is bedless. So it's like take the 2% of the 95,000, you're looking at 1,900 children in Windsor, Essex that are without beds. That's the low end. Then you look at the current data that we're seeing, the socioeconomic data that comes into this community, and we're seeing that Windsor, Essex has the highest child poverty rates, or one of the highest child poverty rates in the country. So when you add that to the mix, that makes our need even greater. And I remember over the winter time, Jeff's team was out there delivering like 5 beds a week. And that's a lot, like when you think of people, a lot of people come to us and say, is it really true that kids don't have beds? And yeah, it is. So we look at the need as being significant and growing in this community. And we are new. So within a year, we've done 120 beds. We've delivered 120 beds since July of last year to July of this year. And that's remarkable in that when I first thought, okay, what are we going to do? How is this going to go? 1,900 beds, it's like, that's a lot of, like, it cost us $350. It was costing us $350 to fund a bed, to make it, from the lumber to the mattress to the sheets and everything. And, so, you're looking at a significant amount of funding. And it's like, can we do that? Well, we did 120 last year. It delivered, and that's a testament to the need out there, and being new, we're not that well known. And the more we get known, the more the demand is going to be on us. And we're prepared for that. We're prepared to expand and do what we have to do to help the kids in this community.
All right. Wow. So what's the support like? You said this is a network that started in the States. How was the support coming from those organizations, like as grassroots? What was the support like there when you said, "Hey, we're in Windsor and we want to start that"? How did that communication go?
Well, that's a good question. Like grassroots, everything that we do here it's all local, but our back of the house is really it's really significant. The website that's prepared, we don't have a hand in that, other than we might have some input in the content, but the actual structure is made by Sleep in Heavenly Peace in the USA. They have all of our bed delivery program, the application process. That's another digital platform that they've prepared for us and we use. Our inventory program is another digital platform. The Facebook and the Instagrams are all like involved with Sleep in Heavenly Peace in the corporate sort of component there. When we look at our insurance, we use economies of scale to get better insurance policies. So, Sleep in Heavenly Peace takes that piece on, and everything else. What goes on in the community here is us. Mm-hmm. Like they provide the back of the house stuff, and we're full on everything that happens in this community stays in this community, and it's the kids in this community that are the benefactors of our work.
Yeah, that's comforting, not having to worry about those logistics, and like you said, you could just focus on the community, because sometimes that gets lost. We always hear about organizations where things are being raised and it's not getting directly to the youth. So that must have been, I know you did your research as police officers. That's the first thing we do. It must have been nice to, see that. So did you get to talk to other people or in different cities about this program, kind of to see what it was like?
Yeah, we, in addition to the kind of the central hub support from SHP corporate down in the States, what we do locally, the communication with local companies and local both youth organizations, local social support organizations, all of that communication goes into hand, both the two main facets, right? Fundraising and building awareness. And it's very important to helping us with our mission, especially the awareness thing, because as more people who are in need become aware of us, we're going to get more requests and we're going to get more kids in beds.
And we've partnered with some of the community groups, like with Children's Aid Society. Mm-hmm. They're an active, ongoing partner with us. If they need a bed, we're there to provide a bed for their clients, and we go out and deliver, like with Hadas House and
the Windsor Youth Center. They're aware of us. They haven't been heavily involved yet, but they are aware. So there's been some communication. So I know for a fact I did one delivery last year that was sourced through them.
Okay. And we go and we've done deliveries in Leamington, Essex, across the board in the Windsor Lakeshore and Tecumseh area. So we're right encompassing this whole county. Even though Windsor's probably the largest, we do reach the entire Essex County.
Yeah, it sounds like you want growth. You want that notoriety. You want people to hear about you, so those requests do come. And I think that's great. Usually sometimes when you start up, you want to start slow, but it seems like, since you have that back end, you're ready for it. And especially having that support, we know as officers, sometimes you might not have much support, but you're willing to put that effort there and people see that. And I imagine that, you're not just getting officers, when you get those youth groups, people stay on and want to, pursue it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's one of those things. How does it get any better than helping a child? And if you provide people with an easy mechanism to do that, and we've set it up so it is relatively easy. When they come out to build a bed, we've got, the wood's all pre-cut, so no one's going to lose any fingers in having to cut the wood. And we have the wood set up for when they sand it, and then they assemble it. Even where they have to drill the holes, it's marked on the boards, basically where they have to drill. And it's that simple. And people who have never used power tools, have come out of there saying, I can use a drill, I can use a sander. And they're like excited because now they're experts on power tools. And it just takes a little bit of effort. When our builds start, we got 30, 40 people there. The first 5 minutes of the build is complete chaos because no one knows what they're doing. And then that chaos turns into excited energy. And when you hear those sanders, you get like 18 sanders turn on, and it's like a beehive. They're sanding away, and there's dust flying, and then there's people drilling, and we also have a really cool thing too, where we have a legitimate branding iron. So our logo gets embossed on all of the beds with a branding iron. So everyone has a chance to come to the branding station and help brand a bed. So not only are you building a bed, but you're helping lay a brand on that bed, which is kind of cool too. So everyone has that excitement throughout the build. Most of the people, I haven't heard anyone say they didn't enjoy the time there, but it's hard work or long work. For 4 hours, it's long work, but you're making 30 plus beds, and you're helping children. And another element, and I don't know if, another element that we introduced too is, and this is through our vice president, Pat Hickson. He was the principal at Holy Names High School, just retired, and he's now our full-time vice president. But Mr. Hickson introduced Sleep in Heavenly Peace to the high schools. We now have a program that we just started this winter, where we're working with the construction academies. We're trying to do it in 5 schools. We just have it in 1 right now, where the youth in those construction academies are building beds for kids. And I like what Pat said. He says, it doesn't get any better than kids helping kids. So not only are you having kids learning their trade in the high school, on their road to getting their red seal in construction and carpentry, you have kids giving back to the community. At that age, they're serving the community. They're already working, building beds for kids. That's pretty cool, in my mind.
It is. The collaborations you talk about, and it's not just you, it's everyone, and you're welcoming. And that's so important. And having that in the schools, kids helping other kids, that's where it starts, right? When you have that energy, like you said, people come and you're teaching. You guys are teachers there. When I started out with tools, like you said, there's that chaos, but once you get going and you see that together, I bet you just sit back and you just see you're like, wow. And the end goal and seeing it right through to the end. That's great that you're in the schools. It's just another way that, you find officers in schools, right? And I think that's great. It just shows that it's about service all the time. It's not about telling people what to do. And we always say, we want to be in the schools with those youth and saying, hey, you can make a difference now. You don't have to wait till you become an adult. And you guys are giving them that avenue. It's great volunteer experience. Like you said, it's great trades and skills. I always tell people, and I feel like you're a recruiter, both of you here, is that life experience when not, where you're volunteering, but why. And you start going somewhere and you learn about Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and that why piece gets really big. And I imagine you're giving people skills, whether it's marketing, whether it's, hands-on, you're growing the community as you grow.
An interesting story about those, the kids at Holy Names. When we went there one day to do a media thing with them, and so we're watching their building their beds, which is really interesting, and it's like they're right into it. And so we do our little bit with the media that came out, and the next day I talked to Mr. Hickson, and he says, Brian, he says, the kids had a spare after that class, and they all came back to build beds. And it just goes to show that when you give them that mission, to end child bedlessness, and you give them that, they understand what they're doing. They can see that they're doing good for their community, and they're wanting to help. And so that little process of teaching them some things about, like how to build a bed, teaching them about how some of their peers are, in jeopardy or need help, and then seeing them become excited and they're becoming leaders in our community.
Yeah.
So we feel very excited that not only are we building beds for kids, but we're also helping build leaders in the community, and that's it's a byproduct that we never thought would be a real byproduct, but it's turning into something else too.
That's great. That's what we want to see. Leaders, them being independent, and I imagine coming out of the pandemic, that was it was a difficult task with the beds and getting things like that. How did you handle that? Like,
pandemic was hard because we started this in the middle of the pandemic, right at the beginning of the pandemic, and the way this started was like we went to my wife and I went to Winnipeg. It was an end-of-life visit for my dad, and we saw that the Winnipeg chapter was going, and there were two members that were running the Winnipeg chapter are also police officers. Bonnie Emerson, she's a superintendent, just got promoted superintendent with the Winnipeg Police Service, and Jim Thiessen, he's retired homicide detective out there. They told us about that, and we said, hey, we can bring this back here. And we did, and we had very successful, like there was, I don't know if you remember, there was the Allen family, they lost their parents. There were 6 kids that were left.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So when we came back here, that event had just happened. And we had met with a leadership group, and they said, these kids need beds. And I was like, without thinking too much, I stuck my hand up. I said, we'll do that. But we didn't have a tool, we didn't have a drill, we didn't have anything yet. So how did we accomplish that? Well, I made a phone call to Jim in Winnipeg. I phoned the head, Luke Mickelson, in the States. He's the guy who founded this overall. Connected with the chapter in Flint, Michigan, and they delivered 6 beds to us. Wow. So we were able to reach out across the river, but into another country. And with the pandemic, the border was shut down. But the members at the border, the officers at the border recognized this was a legitimate need, and they let the beds go through with the mattresses. Everything was perfect. And that started us off. And then during the rest of the pandemic, we couldn't do anything for building, but we were very lucky that we were able to acquire our tools and establish our infrastructure, so that when July of last year came forward, we were ready to rock and roll, and we did.
That speaks to it, right?
Definitely hit the ground running as things started to open up. Yeah. And now it's about building awareness and probably trying to get more people involved as well.
Yeah, and networking. Like, you speak to how much networking works. Like, you said yes, and you had that, like you said, in the background, said this is a need. And I think this is the next level for you. That's kind of why you're here, to promote this. And I think it's great. I think the city of Windsor is going to, see this. The more you promote it, the more they hear about it. And you're welcoming. You're here at all levels. Anyone can help financially, but time is always the best when they can come out and they can see that, go from that 1% to that 100, and like you said, that impact you have on youth. So I want to thank you guys for coming out today and bringing this message of bedlessness for youth, but also creating leaders through your organization, and how a network can grow to help Windsor and Essex County. So I appreciate you, and I'm 100% sure the children and those parents and those families, even the schools and those students, are happy to have you in Windsor.
Well, thank you. Thanks again for having us. And I just, as a newcomer to this city, I want to thank the members of our team that have stepped up to join us, and I'm going to mention them.
Oh, yes.
So we have Julianne Milling, which was our first person who joined us, and she's a volleyball coach, head coach. She works with the university, the college, and she also works with the organization at On the Green, and on the beach. And we have Pat Hickson, who we've talked about. We have a retired police officer by the name of Dave Roselle. He's our lead master woodworker out there. He chops all the wood for us. Jeff, you can tell me who your team is. Tell them who your team is, because they're mostly Windsor police officers, and to me, this is one of the biggest things that people don't see, how police officers who are active on the job or retired still continue to give back. And as an outsider, I see this and I say, this community is in good shape, because all these Windsor police officers are giving back to their community. They care. And you may not see them at your best time and your best day, but I'm telling you, behind the scenes, these men and women that we have helping us care about the kids that are out there and your community, our community, and they're helping. So, Jeff, who's on your team?
We've got Christian Filipovsky. We've got retired police officers, Christine Lucier, Jeff Mayu, Morgan Evans, Dale Harvey, all involved with helping me out with deliveries. So
yeah, they all deserve their flowers, and thank you for coming to our city, and Jeff, thank you for bringing them along, and when we take off the uniform, we still have our duty of service. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on 519 Connect. Please find us on all your platforms: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're there. This is a great episode, and I appreciate you.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
you having us.